while we become Bitcoiners, we realize the framework of the fiat world have become not adaptable for Bitcoiners. And we need to find new ways to reinvent our diet, reinvent ourselves, reinvent the educational framework we use to teach our children, to teach the next generation of Bitcoiners and beyond to build a world that's better for all of us. So next we'll be hearing from Jen Wegmann to talk about how he adapts the Montessori method, incorporate the Montessori method educational framework into teaching kids how to think more sovereign, how to think more for themselves, adopt more critical thinking, agency, and structure into their lives. Let's welcome Jen to talk about when Satoshi meets Maria Montessori.
Okay, so hola, adopting Bitcoin, it feels nice to be back, and today I'm gonna, and it's also what I'm doing, like I have the feeling that this year there is a lot about education topics at adopting Bitcoin, which is a good thing, and I'm gonna talk about Bitcoin and Montessori, and Satoshi will meet Maria today. All right. Yeah. So you have two amazing characters where I will go deeper into during the next 15, 20 minutes. We have Maria Montessori. Who knows Maria Montessori? Okay, quite a lot. And who has kids? Okay. So Maria Montessori and Satoshi Nakamoto, they are super similar, and as the more I dive into both of them, the more I see, like, I kind of got into Bitcoin, I kind of got into Montessori, and the deeper I go into each topic, the more for me it is like, oh wow, it's crazy how they interfere with each other and how well connected they are at the really like basics, I would say. Okay. So what I do, my name is Jens Wegmann, I'm from Bavaria, Germany, and 3 months out of the 12 months in the year, I'm here in El Sonte in El Salvador at Bitcoin Beach. I'm 32 years old, I'm a teacher and a principal of a small Montessori school in Germany, in Bavaria. Right now we have about 80 kids. The good thing for parents, if I had done this talk 1.5 years ago, there would have been like 50 kids at the school. We're growing a lot, and the interest of parents looking for different solutions than the public school system is rising and rising and rising. It's crazy. Of course, I'm a Bitcoiner and I'm a small business owner in El Sonte. I'm part of the Cuatro Amigos, and that's my school. So hopefully this will work. There should be a video coming. to send some hellos from my students from Germany, where we do Bitcoin education.
You can hit in El Salvador with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just such an interesting topic to go about.
Yeah, we like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very interesting. We learn much about Bitcoin. Yep. Bye.
Okay, that's what's always happened. There will be another video where we do at our kids. So what he's doing here, we have our small guest house in El Sonte, where we have to pay the electricity bill every month. And I said, let's just them pay my electricity bill. And that's what they're basically doing. I pay with Bitrefill. Ja, Noah hat meine Stromrechnung in El Salvador bezahlt. And look at this lightning moment face. I love it. And they are a lot into Bitcoin. And they say like, we already did some interviews with a German YouTube channel. And he was asking them, what are you doing? Is your approach? And they're sitting like there and talking, yeah, if the price dips, I'm gonna buy another 10 euros. And like they're getting their sets. And right now they're celebrating a lot, of course, because they already see their allowance go up a lot. And they decide that like a lot of my kids in school, they get their allowance in Bitcoin. They want Satoshis. I'm also at Cuatro Amigos El Sonte, which is a small guest house in El Sonte. Feel free to come over tomorrow. We will have like just open doors all day long. You'll find it on Google Maps or on Instagram. We have a nice pool, and there will be a lot of German Bitcoiners tomorrow. So, we're here about me, then about Montessori, then they both are going to meet, and as I'm here at the Bitcoin conference, of course, I don't talk about Bitcoin that much because you all know what Bitcoin is, what Bitcoin represents. I will talk more about Montessori, which is a really interesting concept of how learning and studying can work. So, who is Maria Montessori? She was a super nice woman. She, for example, she lived like 1870 until 1950, más o menos, and her biggest slogan was, help me do it myself. It's not that you are the teacher and you're teaching and you're saying, you do it this, you do this, you do this. You're just more like supporting to find the kids on their own way and leading the kids to their own path. So what I do in my school, I am a teacher, but I'm also not. I'm more guiding them and supporting them that they will get their own path and will find their own path and go their own path. For example, she's like a pioneer. She was the first woman in Italy that studied medicine, and then through her observation of people and like disabled kids, she made up her pedagogy. I found this nice picture that sums it up pretty good. You have like a few cores of the Montessori principle. For example, Montessori thinks it's about sensitive periods. There is a time in life where you're super open to learn languages. There's a time in life where you're super open to build muscles and strength. And Montessori is onto that, and this time can also vary from child to child. So she's not saying at the age of 7, you need to learn to write. It will come whenever it comes. And the child has an inherent desire to learn. We all want to learn all the time. Just somehow in public schools, through the school system, they do a really good job that we don't want to learn anymore. So, and she says the child has an absorbent mind, which means if you have kids, if you observe kids, they will absorb everything like of their surroundings. The smaller they are, the more they absorb, because they need to learn, they need to get to know the world. Then you have the adults and the environment. For example, you have a prepared environment that is not sterile or like where you have that feeling, yes, I want to learn, yes, I want to study here, and not like those classrooms. There are pictures where they compare schools with jails, and yeah, looks super similar at some point. And the adults also have to play their part. They have to let go and put a lot of trust in the individual and a lot of respect. And it's more, as I already told you, it's more about observe and follow the child. What is the child? What does it want? What's the sensitive phase right now that I have to touch? And it's also freedom within limits, which means they can choose, also in my school, they can choose whatever they want to do. I will give them completely freedom within a limit, within a certain limit. Like they can't go like all year long without not doing anything, but no child is like that. Yeah, so this is what basically like a Montessori classroom would look like. It's like a standard classroom. You have like not much plastic. They will give, and the goal of Montessori is to get the child as independent as possible, as early as possible. And so you need to learn how to tie your shoes, you need to learn how to drink, how to cut your food and everything. And her principle is to do it as early as possible. Okay, how does this connect to Bitcoin? Obviously it's not Satoshi Nakamoto, but it's a nice meme. I mean, it connects well because at Montessori you could say, be your own bank and be your own teacher. It would be like for Montessori. At Bitcoin you always say, be your own bank, be your own bank. And Montessori is like, be your own teacher, because I'm not teaching the kids in my school, I'm guiding them. They are teaching themselves. They are going their own path. With like the material you see in the background is, it explains itself like by just doing it. And for example, like people that are super bad in calculating in math, they will go use this material and they get it. It's crazy. And the more I dive deeper into Bitcoin and the more I dive deeper into Montessori, the more I feel like, yeah, that's it. So what do both have in common? They are both not active anymore. Satoshi, no one knows. Maybe he is, it is, she is, they are some spiritual thing, I don't know. And Maria Montessori is dead, obviously. So it's already out and you can't kind of get it back anymore. Of course, both are visionary thinkers. Satoshi is really redesigning the financial world and how we see it. He's like disrupting all the finance stuff, all the value stuff that we had in our fiat world, and is bringing the invention of Bitcoin to the world, like a gift. And the same for Montessori. She was the first woman studying medicine, and through her observations, she completely disrupted the educational sector. And right now, you have hundreds and thousands of Montessori schools all over the world. What's also nice, both are a grassroots movement. No top-down, there is no government saying, we're gonna teach Montessori everywhere now. Nope. Bitcoin, it's the same. We have one country that is top-down, but it kind of had to be one country. But in general, everything is grassroots. Even in El Salvador, it was a grassroots movement from El Sonte, and Bukele was maybe just smart and said, yeah, that works. Good marketing, and also all the other benefits, let's do that. And for Montessori, it was the same. There was no, she's Italian, there was no Italian government like supporting it and saying, hey, let's go, we're gonna put Montessori because it works. It was different. During the Nazi period, they even like restricted Montessori schools, and of course, which government wants to have independent individuals? Maybe the new one in America, I don't know. It's a lot about ethical behavior. If you stick to the rules of the Bitcoin network, and you'll be fine. It doesn't matter your race, your age, your skin color, your religion, nothing. And it's the same with Montessori. It's a lot about everyone can use it and the method. And also about empowerment, because it's super nice when young kids are not like in public schools, for example, that they are told, you do this now, I'll do everything for you. At Montessori schools, it's the other way around. we try to get them as independent as possible, as early as possible, like I already mentioned. And of course, Bitcoin is individual potential. I can own Bitcoin, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can send it to some guy in cyberspace or wherever. And the same is with Montessori. We do not care about when someone is learning how to write, when someone is learning how to calculate and everything. We will direct the path and be supportive, but we don't do it top down. And both are focused on self-sovereignty. I can be my own bank and I run my node and I have my hardware wallet and no one can take this from me. And Montessori is the same. It's all in you. We say in Montessori, you have everything you need already inside you. It just has to, you need to water it, garden it, and then it will blossom anyway. Okay. And maybe you already heard, with all these points, Bitcoin and Montessori is a lot about sharing the same values. They share a lot the same values, and I listed some. It's like ethics, responsibility, it's freedom, it's innovation, it's also decentralization, it's trust and transparency. And for example, the decentralization, and then I made this to see that there is like a common ground for it. Both are super focused on independency, both are super focused on the freedom, both are visionaries, and both have a long-term impact. When we see where we already got from, Satoshi and Bitcoin got from nothing to now being reserve currency in the United States soon. It's just insane. And this is even just the beginning still. And the same with Montessori. Her schools are now all over the world. I think there is a school in El Salvador too. The Acton Academy has some Montessori elements. So, I'm going to continue and make a little, some keys why Bitcoiners should send their kids to a Montessori school. I think I already kind of answered this question because it's about the same values. It's about super similar values they share. And Bitcoiners, we will have a panel later too, where we're going to talk about parents in Bitcoin and should parents maybe send their kid to a public school at all, and why not? And I think I already made some really good points why Bitcoin and Montessori really interact well. So I'll just list them here again. And here it's the decentralized education. Of course, the values is the most important thing. If you remember anything from this talk today, it's really about the values. And the decentralized education, I need to give a little scam alert. Because Montessori schools are decentralized. The quality of Montessori schools can also range from like super bad to super good. You have like super woke Montessori schools that maybe not teaching that much individual freedom and sovereignty. They just have the badge Montessori on it. So you really need to do, like at Bitcoin also, you need to do your own research. Is this school really doing what I'm looking for? Are they really teaching self-sovereignty, or is it just like, oh yeah, Montessori is like in and it's like cool right now and we're gonna send our kid there because everything is better than public schools probably. It's not like that. So I think I don't even have that much time left. I would have gone for Q&A if there are any questions. Otherwise, I'm already done and we see you in like 20 minutes for the next panel. Thank you. Do we have time for one or two questions? Yeah, we have time. Any questions so far? So what is the best question to ask to get to know better what Montessori is about? It depends what you want. Do you want to have like a super open school with a lot of freedom? Like people are different. Some even, like some public schools are not that bad because they are small schools. Same for Montessori schools. For my school, it's super easy because I have 80 students. I know all of them. I know all of their parents. But there are also Montessori schools with like 500, 600 students. There it's already not that much Montessori anymore because it's already too decentralized, in my opinion. So that kind of, it's super individual process. But we can have a talk later for sure. All right. Thank you so much.